Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Over the past 2 years, there have been nearly 30 solar merchant electric generating facilities that have been proposed across the Commonwealth, with 20 of these projects having been awarded conditional construction certificates. As the demand for renewable energy increases across the country and our Commonwealth, it is imperative that as part of these developments, we assure that our landowners and communities are protected in the event any of these projects should ever fail to properly decommission and dismantle their facilities at the end of their useful life. I often think about the 14,000 abandoned and orphaned wells that we have throughout Kentucky. We need to make sure that at the end of a solar development's life cycle, provisions are in place that restores the property back to a substantially similar state as its original form. The purpose of this legislation is to provide Kentucky landowners and communities with protections that will apply when a merchant electric generating facility ceases to produce power. House Bill 392 protects individual property rights when they choose to enter into agreements with solar developers. House Bill 392 imposes several new requirements upon these developers. Specifically, first, the developer must submit a decommissioning plan as part of its siting board application. Second, it must tender a decommissioning bond prior to commencing construction and update that bond at least once every 5 years. And third, it must give notice to appropriate authorities of a future transfer of ownership or control of the project during its operational phase. The bill expressly provides that there should be no lapse in bond coverage for a project so that whenever decommissioning obligation is triggered, there will be financial security in place to serve as a backstop in the event that the project owner, for whatever reason, fails to complete the decommissioning requirement. House Bill 392 also provides that on subjects where a local government agency issues its own mandates for merchant electric generators, whether by way of an ordinance, license, or permit, the local government agency's mandate will prevail in the event of a conflict with the siting board. This primacy provision assures that local governments will have an active role in deciding decisions while also mitigating the risk for developers of having inconsistent obligations from the state and local government. In situations where there may not be a local planning and zoning agency, or that agency chooses not to address an issue relevant to the siting of a merchant electric generator, House Bill 392 assures that the developer must nevertheless submit an appropriate decommissioning plan and secure and file proof of financial assurance, a bond, to cover those costs prior to commencing construction. Finally, House Bill 392 clarifies that the two local members who participate as members of the siting board will serve until that siting board's jurisdiction over the specific project ends. In each of these respects, House Bill 392 creates a safety net to protect landowners and communities in instances where a local planning and zoning agency doesn't exist, or if it exists and has not exercised its jurisdiction. Through the requirement of the financial assurance, it assures that at no time are landowners and local governments left without remedy to decommission and dismantle a facility. This bill does not change existing law with regard to the power of local planning and zoning agencies, but addresses the most basic concerns that can arise for this type of development. This is a great step in the right direction. Mr. Speaker, I move for passage of House Bill 392.